Hello, YouTube. It has been a couple days. It's been a lot of changes. Things are in the air. What was the last? Let me check. I did some of the animation study work for an animation test for the prop designs you're seeing to my left, your right of the screen. Pretty happy with how this came out, and so is the studio. Here we go. So let's take a closer look. Oh, are you not refreshing? Let's fix that. So, click there, and browser. There we go. Okay, so this is a telephone rotation of a 70s telephone with the receiver off and on. Here's the, oops, do I have to click here? Here's the rough draft. It's all done in Clip Studio, saved out in PSD files. There may be a kit running around in here. A 70s magazine. Rough draft. And then a TV, smashed and unsmashed. It was like a day's work. It was supposed to be 8 hours. It took a little longer than 8 hours because I was having some trouble finding the right tools to get the line values I wanted. I was surprised they didn't send me like a set of guides on do it at this resolution and that brush setting, but I'm sure that there's an in-house standard once the production gets started, and I think I got close enough because they liked it. They thought it was fantastic. So I got a job being a prop designer at Oasis Studios, and that's probably going to change my schedule some. It's a 40 hours a day gig, so that's a given. We'll see. I want to keep working on my comics. I'm teaching one more semester of Intro to Cartooning at Sin Studio, which I think you can still get in on if you want to. Go to sinstudio.ca. And then that'll be it for teaching for a while at Sin. I'm probably not going to do any classes there for a little while. I was getting by teaching part-time, and that's how I was paying the bills, but with the way things are going, I definitely felt like it's time to think a little more strategically. And when the opportunity came up to contact, that I knew they were hiring, and to contact them about applying for a job, I jumped on it, and it worked out well. It's going to be interesting. I haven't done studio work for a while, but I remember it well. It was actually a good time for me in terms of also I found, like, some days it was pretty intense and you're just tired, but I found generally the relative low density of line work and drafting that goes into animation work usually, design work. It's a job. It's not like easy, but I found it was a good warm-up for more intensive stuff that I would want to do on my own when I got home. So it actually worked out pretty well for me in terms of my own productivity. There was a good trade-off. I may not have been as many hours free, but I maximized the hours I had and got a lot done. So I don't know how it's going to affect my personal work's productivity or what I'm doing with YouTube these days, which is a little bit scattershot, and it was geared more towards thinking about teaching. I think I'll still, for now, keep the teaching aspect of what I'm doing on Patreon, but I'll have more time not running another course to focus on it and organize it better. We'll see how that goes. I'll probably cap the number of students I can take, though, because I'm just not going to have the time. I'll keep my base level Patreon level for basically just subscribing to get my comics. I'll keep doing that for a while. But, well, definitely. But I'll have to figure out, I start this week, Thursday, and I'll have to figure out after like a week or two of that how it's going and what kind of time I have and what kind of energy I've got. I did enjoy it, and it was easy to balance things out last time. But it's been a while, and I turned 50 last week, so I'm going to allow for some creak in the bones. We'll see. Pretty happy about it, though. Generally, I think it's a good turn of fortune. I felt like I'd been teaching part-time to pay the bills for 7 years, and it worked okay, but it definitely didn't leave me with much of a security net or a lot of options. So this will like quadruple my income, and that's gonna buy me a little more latitude, and then I'm not entirely sure what I'll do with that latitude. We'll see. I have some ideas. We've been talking about things we'd like to do, Ange and I, so stay tuned. But I thought that we were due for an update here. I also just finished editing a great big long interview with Jose Anderson. Me and Sam Noir interviewed him on Zoom for our podcast, which I've now got 3 episodes edited out of 7 recorded. So I'm going to try to get the rest of those edited in the coming week and get them queued up to start broadcasting. And I'll broadcast them both on the New Sequential channel, which you'll find on my channel's page. There's a link to. But I'll also probably, at least the first couple maybe an abbreviated chunk, like a little 15-minute opening, and then go here to watch more. But on here, for my current subscribers, I'll post clips and links. And I think they've gone really well. And then I had to spend like pretty much a day transcribing from video. I made a video for our podcast. It's an hour and a half. Then I did another severe edit, just clipped any kind of meandering out, made a much more focused interview, and then took that and transcribed it. And as I was transcribing it, edited it again. And now it's been edited between me and Sam and Brendan, the publisher of Sequential magazine. And so I think it's nicely honed. It's pretty good. I haven't had a chance to read the rest of it, but I just saw the mock-up for the issue of the magazine. I think we need to figure out what we're doing with the cover. I was reluctant. I suggest we don't put Black Lives Matter on the cover because it felt like it was sort of using it for marketing then. But it is very much dedicated to the cause of. So we focused on people of color in Canada. I'm not sure if it was also specifically black. There might be some mix in there. But just a quick look through, most of the interviews are with Canadian creators who are from the black community and have either, like in the case of Jose, been hugely influential or up and coming and interesting to check out. And we have a piece of one of Jose's pages from Godhead on the cover, which is cool. Totally goes with the theme of the book too, Godhead, and like where things are. And it was really cool to talk to Ho, and hopefully that's a conversation, or hopefully that's a person I can have conversations with outside of like interviews, because I was inspired to say, hey, we should talk to him after I saw him talk to the KFAB guys. But Sam and I have been passing back and forth suggestions of people we want to interview. And I saw his interview with the KFAB guys, and it was like, we should talk to him. I've always wanted to talk to him more. And especially because, for me personally, he was an interesting figure in the landscape, just outside of my circle of contacts. So I knew had a lot of mutual friends with Jose Anderson, but I didn't have more than 1 or 2 run-ins actually meeting him, and getting to talk for more than a hello and a quick conversation. He thinks he remembers me from Jay Stevens' studio, though, so that's cool. He's got a better visual memory than I do. I remember meeting him there, and I remember he had dreads, and I don't remember much else. I kind of remember the space. It was like a basement came down, and it felt like it was wide, and they divided it into half along the middle or something. I almost feel like there was like a step down or step up or something. It was an interesting space. It was back when I was working animation, I think the first time around, right after my stint at Marvel. Anyway, I'm meandering. How long's this been? Oh, that's just about right, isn't it? It's a nice short little update. That's what's up. I have a new job. I'm going to be working in an animation studio. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to keep me busy. We'll see how much of that, if any, I can show here on YouTube. Probably not much of that at all, but I'm going to try to do my own work too, and maybe I'll use the streaming in the evening of my own work as just sort of like a construct for getting that done. We'll see. I'll figure it out. I have to clock a certain number of hours a day for the job, and as long as it's getting done, if I have any kind of extra energy left over, I want to start like a new routine. Get up early-ish for me, like 8 or 9. Go for a walk for an hour, and then sit down to do the studio work for a while, and then I guess at the end of whatever works out to, I'll have to do the math. Enough hours. It'll depend on deadlines and things too. Be able to punch out and do some of my own work, hopefully. Maybe after another stroll. Anyway, I hope the fall is treating you well. And if you're one of my Patreon patrons, you'll have seen the post that I just showed at the beginning of this clip. If you're here on YouTube, you'll find a link to that post in the doobly-doo below. And if you want to join my Patreon, for now, it would be great if I just had more $2 subscribers and you get to read my comics. And that'll help motivate me to keep working on my comics. And if I had like 300, it would still help out a lot. It would mean I'd have that much more room to breathe. And it's also just good to sell my comics. If you don't want to join Patreon, you can go to Gumroad, spiltink.gumroad.com, and that address will let you buy outright both digital or print editions of my comics. There's also some other options there, so check it out. I'm going to leave it at there. I hope you're well, and play safe, wear your mask, wash your hands. Black Lives Matter.